So back again, and I'm going to record this part right now. It's still Wednesday 6. So what we're going to do is, I think we're going to fix this and fetch inside home the documents that we have in the database. So let's fix this first. So we are going to go to the main.js and add some functionality. But first we need to say constant. Okay, let me just get my code. Okay. Okay, I think I have them. Yep. So yes, let's add it here. So constant open nav equals to document dot query selector. We have the open nav that is an ID, and okay, the other one is constant close nav equals document dot query selector, and the ID is a close nav. We're going to go to the bottom. Let's say nav functions, and we are going to do the constant. Sorry. We have open nav that add event listener. So we are going to add an event to this. Which event? The click event. So when we click, we're going to perform an action. So this is a listener. We add the event. Okay, so remember that this just is the same as event. So we pass the event, and well, we are not using the event, but we are going to set document that get element by ID. Okay, I forgot the ID of this. So let's say nav ID, just say nav, and we need to pass also the ID here, nav, just like that, and we're going to access the nav and the style. So we are going to change the style using JavaScript. So width is going to be equals to 250 pixels, and document that get element by ID main that style that the ID main corresponds to our main tag style that margin left equals to 250 pixels. So let's save this, and let's open the console in case there's an error. If I click this, okay, let me refresh this. This is inside the index. Okay, you can see that, but okay, I think I know what's going on inside home, because we still don't have content, but we will fix that in a second. And to the close nav, and we still need to add some styling, so I think that's the only thing we're going to do here. Close nav, that is actually the same. Add event listener to click. We pass the event in case we want to use it, but we are not going to use that. Oh yeah, we're going to use the event because this was a link. So event prevent default. I think it's a link, right? Forgot. So the clause is going to be, yeah, it's this link. To avoid to refresh the page, we're going to use the event to prevent the default behavior. So that's why we need the event prevent default, and we're just going to copy this and we're going to match the numbers to 0, and we're going to leave this one here as empty. Okay, so we cannot see that there, so let's click and okay, it's not style margin left to 50. We're going to add the styles in a second. Okay, so I'm matching those. Okay, so let's go to the main CSS and add the styles for some things. So I'm going to come back here and say header. Well, let's add those. Header height 300 pixels, position relative, and C index. We need position relative in order to use C index less 1, and in order to use top, of course, less 125, because I think there was a problem with some things. That's why I changed this. Okay, so it's not removing that. Okay, maybe because it should be only 0, maybe. Okay, sorry, it's my bad. It's this one. That's why we need the, so we click this, it moves, and we click this little X and it moves back, but we still don't have the styling, so I might need to fix that because I'm using a new element that is the div there. So let's see how it looks. So right now we're going to go to style and navigation. So yep, just add those here. So is let's say nav. Well, it has, yeah, it has Sidenav. Sorry, Sidenav is going to have a height of 100%, the width of 0 pixels, because we're going to change that using JavaScript. The position is fixed, so when we scroll, it stays in the same place. The C index, we can use it because we're positioning that. It's going to be 1, okay? Or we can set something like 10 if we want a high number, okay? Because if we set this as I don't know, maybe a 9, and this one is on 1, this one is going to be above this element. So this one was 1, I think, no? Less 1, okay, let's say less 1, and this one is going to be, let's say 10, a high number to make sure. Usually, okay, what we do, if we want to make sure that it's going to be on top of everything, we are going to say 99. So okay, top 0, left 0, we can use this because we're using the position. Okay, we're setting the position. Background, we can say it's going to be let's say this kind of black. overflow X hidden transition. We're going to add a transition to this 0.5 seconds, and the padding top is going to be 60 pixels. So let's see how this one looks. Okay, we cannot see that, and you can see now it's working. So it's pushing this a little bit, okay, and returning. So this should also work. Why this is not okay? Seems there's a problem there, but we're going to check what is going on. And now we just need to style what is inside. So let's say Sidenav h2 is going to be color, this grayish color. Sidenav anchor is going to be a padding 10 pixels. Text decoration, that is the thing that the links have. Okay, underneath is going to be none because they have an underline. Let's say none. Font size, let's say 20 pixels. The color also is this kind of grayish. Display block, and transition is going to be 0.3 seconds. So we still don't have that. So you can see that is this little X. So the next thing is that Sidenav anchor hover. We're going to change the color to maybe aquamarine, I don't know, something. Now Sidenav close button, that is actually the X, close btn. Position absolute is time to place it where it should be, that is on top. 0 right, we're going to say 25 pixels from the right. The font size is equal to, in this case, 36 pixels. So margin left. So this actually, okay, this actually shouldn't work. Let's see. Yeah, you can see we have this margin should not work because let's say something, well, 50 pixels, because we don't this one is positioned, okay, in an absolute way, and margin doesn't affect position absolute. It's not going to affect absolute position elements, so it's going to remain the same. So this is the link that we changed before, that is this Sidenav anchor hover, and yeah, so we click this and this appears. Okay, let's go to home. So seems that there's a problem with this that I'm not sure what's going on. So I did nav because we only, oh, I think it's because we are moving the header, because on my other code I had to move the header in order to, okay, yep, in order to get some things right. So let's go to Unsplash, and let's say header is let's say 600 pixels, and let's say let's add a background of red. Just okay, this is actually too big. 300. Okay, and we need to move this margin top less 120 pixels maybe. Yep, let's say less 20 pixels to move this a little bit up. Okay, because we're going to say header h1 padding top. I think this is going to break that. No, it's working fine. Okay, so padding top 20, and let's say that, so we can change this into a more soothing color, and we can use an image. So let's get maybe this one, I don't know. So I'm going to only open in a new tab. I'm going to copy this just to show you that you can set a background. So let's say background URL, and it's going to be this. Let's save this. You can see that is changing, is adding that. So let's say center, and I'm going to say background size. We can add 100%, and you can see that we have this header with the background, and yeah, we can also say cover here. Okay, it's going to stay the same, but maybe if we add 500 to this, it should look better. Okay, it looks better. So as I said, I'm going to do some different things of what we had, because just to show you that you can do, okay, you can make something look better. So let's say font size, I like big titles. Font size 120 pixels. Is that too big? That is too big. 70 pixels. Yep. And we need to fix the margin top to maybe 50. Less 50. Okay, we fixed that. And yeah, let's add a break into, no, cancel that. Let's add a break into this, so it breaks into another line, and let's go to the index and do that too. Oh, so that is the, okay, that is that. And is this one, sorry. Oh, so let's keep that one too. And create a new post. Or let's okay. If I go to new post, create a new post. Okay. So you can see, you can scroll. So because we have a header, it's going to show that, but let's remove a header from the create because I don't want that to be shown. Okay, and we can add here inside this h1 to say create a new post, and you can see we have that. Okay, home, and we have this Firebase app. Let's maybe push it with margin right, or sorry, margin left, maybe 200 pixels, and maybe say 170 for this to move it a little bit up. We want the line height, that is the height between the lines of text, to be the same as the font size. Okay, it closes the gap a little bit, so maybe we can leave it there. We can go to the to this and remove the border, maybe a little darker there. Yep, and maybe add where is that? I have the toggler div. Maybe we just add some more padding to that, and we can make this a little. Okay, so that should do. Just adding some, styling to that, so you can play with that. You can also come back here. These images are free to use, so don't worry. So maybe if we try this one, okay, it's too small. That's too bad because it looked good. I'm just going to check for another one that we could use maybe, and if not, continue with what we have planned. Okay, maybe this one. Okay, that's big enough. Just to show you that you can just come back here, change this URL. Of course, this one, okay, you can see that, and it works. So let's keep the other one. Control C to undo that, and let's say bottom, because let's see how this looks with the logs. Could be better. And let's say top, but it looks with the sky. Okay, so let's go back to center and actually leave it the way it was. So you can see we don't have the header here, so I think that's fine. We can go back to home and we can see the header. So now let me see the time, 20 minutes. So let's add what we should add. So I just wanted to beautify this a little bit before continuing, just to show you that you can do that and you can play with the styles and make something that look kind of ugly, okay, because it was ugly, to look a little bit better. So you can show that if you want. So let's go to main.js, and we need to do something in order to retrieve the information that we have inside the database, that right now is only a single post, but we want to return that. So let's come back here and we're going to say the next. So this function, or this constant, is going to be a constant with a function. So let's say get posts is going to be equal to async and to an async function, and we are going to create a new variable that is posts array, that is going to be equal to an empty array, because we are going to populate that with the posts that come back from Firebase. Let docs equals to await. Let's await, because we're using async. Let's wait for this to be downloaded, for all the posts to be finished downloading. Firebase that firestore that collection. We need to specify which collection we're going to use. That, remember that we're storing everything inside the post collection. We need to use the get function, and right now we're not going to use pagination or anything else. Okay, we are going to add that maybe in another video. So we're going to catch any error that could happen. This is just for this. Okay, console.log, and we just show the error. Okay, so that is going to catch if there's an error with this. And for those docs, if that is set, we're going to say for each doc that we return, we're going to push them inside our post array. So we're going to push the ID with the doc.id, that is what is going to return, and another key that is going to be the data that is going to have the that data that this is actually a function. So that should be fine. And we need to call a new function. So this one is going to be named create children. Okay, and we need to pass the post array. So this function is the one that we're going to do below here at this constant. Create children equals to async function that accepts an array and does the next. So if post that we don't have that, so let's actually get those. So remember that we have a div that is that has the ID of post. Let's add it up here. So post is equal to document that get element. Oh, sorry, query selector, because we're using query selector here. The ID is posts. I think it's like that. Okay, so we're going to check if those posts or if that element is inside our current HTML. Okay, so let me just scroll down a little bit. And we're going to say array.map. We're going to map through our array and post. We're going to receive a post for each time we map. So we're going to create a div, and it's going to be equals to document that create element. That is going to be a div. The other one is going to be that cover equals to document that create element, that also is going to be a div. I'm not going to use an image. I'm going to set the image that we have as the background of this div. Okay, and let anchor equals to document that create element, that is going to be an anchor. And anchor not that is going to be a text inside that anchor. Document that create text node. This is how we create the text inside an element. So that is going to be post that data, that title, because this data is going to have inside an object. So we get the title, the content, and the cover from this data. Okay, and remember that is stored now in a data, so we can access that. Now anchor that set attribute. This is pure JavaScript. Okay, edge reference. We're going to set the edge reference to the let's say backticks. Well, let's say it like this, because I don't know how to spray the backticks. With the keyboard, I'm using Alt-GR plus the curly brace, those together. So that is what double tapping, it gives me the backticks. So I'm just going to do it like this. So we're going to say post.html. So the link that we are going to add is going to have the reference of the post. So it's going to take us to this post.html. So post.html, I'm adding a hash pound here because it was for Electron, but I'm going to do it like this, sorry, and I'm going to change it to see this should work, because this is the browser, plus post.id. So remember that we have an ID. Okay, so every time we map to an array, it's going to give us a post and from that post we're going to get the ID that is this one. Okay, and now is the funny part. We need all this is created, but it's not appended inside our document, so we need to append child. So for the anchor to have the text, we need to append the text to the anchor. So we need to append that cover, that style, that background image. So right now we're going to set the background image to the cover, that is a div, to be equals to URL. We open this, we add a plus, post data that cover, because that is the URL, and we add another plus, and we close that. Okay, this is because we are not using backticks, so we need to do it like that, appending or using this plus signs. So div that class list, we are going to add a class to this div using JavaScript, and it's going to be class post, because remember that this is being generated, so we cannot give a class inside this, because this is all going to go inside this div, and we cannot give a class to something that doesn't exist. So it's going to be generated on the fly, and we can add a post class. So after this, we need to append the cover to the div. Also append the anchor, and the posts we need to append the div. Okay, so every time we loop through this array, is going to create a new one and append a new div inside our posts. So let's save this, and this should work, but we're going to do something. Okay, just F12. Okay, so let's refresh, and we have the function, but of course the function is not working because we need to call the function actually. And just give me a second, because we're going to use it appending. Okay, let's go here. Check if the DOM is fully loaded. You might face some errors trying to access something. Okay, if the DOM is not fully loaded, what it's going to do is, once we call the function, it's going to do it as the page is being loaded. Okay, and sometimes it's fast, okay, enough that it doesn't see the element, so it's trying to access an element that is still not being displayed in the page or added inside the page. So to fix that, we're going to say document. Remember that document is a reserved keyword. Okay, so it's a special keyword that at event listener we can add events to our document. So we're going to check for the DOM content loaded, and we're going to do the next, that is get post. We're going to perform the function once the DOM is fully loaded. So let's save this and let's see if that works. Okay, you can see we have this first post, but you might be thinking why it's looking like that, because we don't have the styles still for the post. So let me go to my other and find the post. So let's go to below here, and let's say ID posts, that is set is the ID that is being this one, okay, on line 28 on the index HTML. So post, we're going to give a width of 100%. Yeah, let's say 100%. So display flex, we're going to use flex box here. Okay, flex wrap. So what flex wrap is going to do is that when we have multiple elements and they don't fit in a row, it's going to break that row and I'm gonna say this, make everything so it doesn't overflow the window. Okay, so it's wrap. Justify content is the way that we are going to center the different posts inside this post container, and align items is how the items or the different posts are going to be aligned. So it's going to try to center all those using the each center point of the square. So right now we are going to add the post, class post. So let me scroll down a little bit. That this class post is going to be width 100%. We're going to add a maximum width because we don't want to fully take all the space of a row. So it's going to be 400 pixels for that. And the margin, we're going to give a margin because we don't want all those to be together. Although I will show you how it looks without a margin, so you can see that. The post with a div. Okay, so this div is actually the cover, but I'm going to grab it like this. So you can say also a class cover if you wanted to add a cover, but we can access the immediate child that is a div from this post that is going to have our cover. We're going to say display block. We want that to have a margin and padding or access to those properties. Only elements with block properties can have those properties, like being moved with the margin and having the padding. So div is an inline element, so by itself cannot have a position. Okay, so it kind of takes what it can, and now with the display block we can define some other properties to that. So the color, no, sorry, the color, no, the height. So, well, let's say this should work with the display block because I already explained that, but I'm not using display block there. So let's see how it fits. But actually, it's true what I said, that inline elements cannot have certain properties and we need to place them as block elements to be able to do something, and that is the case for the anchor elements. So background size, so we're going to say background size to 120%, and let's see how this works. Okay, you can see this, and if I say important, this should important. Okay, so yeah, it actually takes that without the important, so that's the important thing. So let's say 150. Okay, you can see that it's kind of setting everything bigger because I want this. So if we do something that we don't have there, is the div hover. Okay, as I said, I will try to do this on my other courses for beginners to show you that you can actually do some, you know, apply some kind of effects. So we're going to say background size of 100%, maybe. My phone is, sorry, I've been receiving calls, I don't know. Okay, you can see this, but you remember we have a transition here. Let's remove this because this is for the Sidenav and don't worry, we're going to set the transition. But what I like to do is to come back here and say body everything transition all 1 second is in out. That this is something that you will learn later, and you can see that everything is kind of smoothing, even the loading. Okay, so if I click this, of course you will need to find something better for that. So let's say I'm just going to do it like this, 0. Not 3, 0.5 maybe. Okay, we have that. You can see that it changes, and you can see how this changes too. So okay, that gives kind of a better I think it's better to have everything with a similar transition. Okay, so I don't know, the calls I'm receiving are from an employer or something, because I talked uh, with one, but I'm not sure. So I'm busy right now, so I'm not going to cut the video to answer. Now, okay, we have almost everything. Yes. And we are receiving the post. So let's actually go a new post. And what I'm going to do is to select another image in my audio screen. And this one. Say second post. This is the second post. We have that. And let's say submit. And okay, you can see that this is being filled. This image is quite big. Okay, so it takes a little bit to upload. So as I say, I've been receiving so you should be careful with your calls. I'm always trying to be careful, because I received some calls from Honduras. I don't know, and I never spoken with anyone from Honduras, so my phone actually told me that they were from Honduras, and I was like, what the hell? Some scam calls and extortions, and a ton of shit that happens here, and I'm sure it happens on other countries. So I'm always careful with my calls and things like that, so I don't get surprised by any of those things. So you can see, since we uploaded another one, we have now 2 elements that are being appended. So let's say inspect. Again, inspect, because for some reason, okay, F12. For some reason, it doesn't want to open. Okay, so let's click this one, and you can see the div class post. Those 2 divs class posts, that is what we are injecting, are part of the DOM. Okay, and this is the URL on what this link is going to take us. So you can see that everything is working fine. And yeah, let's just add something to the main, because I don't like that is all like that. So let's say main margin top, I like 120 pixels. Okay, so you can see that it moves that. So if I do this, you can see that because we are setting the wrap, the flex wrap is going to, when it doesn't fit all the elements, it's just going to break in different lines. So, okay. So that's the thing with Flexbox. So this is looking better than what I thought, or than what I showed before. So yeah, And just give me a second. Let's say let's add padding bottom to this to be also 120 pixels, because I don't like how this looks. Okay, or so yeah, we're going to fix that later. So these 3 videos are going to go for you this Thursday. I think for you to have to do something during the weekend if you're a newbie and if you are expecting this one. So I want to deliver this content, and we are going to continue with the rest the next week to finish that. Okay, so that's all, and see you in the next one.